Hey everyone, it's Rob Folia with Folia Properties at Keller Williams Realty here in Nashville, as well as author of Real Estate Reset, a countercultural approach to traditional real estate selling. And as you can see, I'm already in the festive spirit. It is December. It's the first Monday of December. So of course, we're coming to you with a market update video. Let's see what's going on here in the world of real estate. And let's just go ahead and jump right in. Um, and so as we've talked about, and we're going to get into this big time today, we're going to talk about seasonality in the world of real estate. But before we do, I just want to touch on interest rates. If you have followed my channel, my videos, just these insights for any length of time, you know that this has been a hot button topic for me over the last couple of years. Because the reality is, we really saw our market shift right in here, in 2022, almost 3 years ago now, really beginning of 22, when things started to climb up. And, and the reality is interest rates impact affordability in a greater way than most buyers and sellers think. And so because of that, we always touch on interest rates. And right here, you can see over the last month or so, they have definitely settled down into the high sixes. Honestly, I would just call that 7% if you're just having a conversation. That's a good thing. When I'm seeing rates settle in one spot, that's telling me there's a little less volatility. That should allow you, if you're a home buyer or a homeowner who's thinking about selling, to evaluate what the future might hold. Because if rates rise, if you're a home buyer, obviously it makes homes less affordable. If you're a homeowner thinking of selling, it makes your home less affordable. That's going to impact how much you can get for the property. Obviously, if rates drop, well, if you're a home buyer, that's going to make things more affordable for you. You can get more home, more bang for your buck. And if you're a seller, that means there should be some more competition for your property. For the buyers, I should say, competition for the buyers for your property. So that's a good thing. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of factors that weigh into both sides, and that's what I want to talk about at the local level. And what I've pulled up here is just these are the stats for Nashville, and as I mentioned, I'm going to talk about seasonality here a little bit, but I usually look at November, December, January as kind of that seasonality time for real estate, meaning it's around Christmas, around Thanksgiving, around the New Year. It's when maybe some homeowners haven't put their home on the market yet. Some home buyers are like, well, I'll just wait till the new year. I don't want to move around the holidays. Like like that's just the reality. And some people will have that story that they're telling themselves and that they want to go with. And that's absolutely fine. If that's you, if you want to wait till the new year, go for it. But is there seasonality in real estate? Like, what does the market look like right now for you as a homeowner thinking of selling, or a home buyer thinking of buying here in Middle Tennessee? Well, I just pulled up stats for Nashville. I didn't go into any specific zip code or neighborhood. This is Nashville. And a couple of things are really jumping out to me that I want to spotlight. First things first, but I have what I've highlighted here, and that's new listings. New listings in November of so that last month compared to November of 23, down 21%. That's huge. We look at a timeline here, and we'll go back to the snapshot here in just a minute. You could see here's the thing. First off, it's normal to go down at the end of the year. I'll go back and look at a 3-year trend just so you can get an idea of what we're talking about here. And as you can see, I'm looking at things live, and so I'm up to the mercy of our real track system. But the reality is, usually it's a bell curve. Every year, the real estate market's a bell curve. Usually, the least amount of new listings hit in December. It peaks middle of the year, goes down in December, and that's just the norm. So it's not abnormal to see the amount of new listings down compared to, say, October or September, et cetera. What is abnormal, and what I think is worth keeping our eyes on, is the fact that it's down 21% year over year. So meaning the 566 new listings that hit the market in November of 24, that's a 21% decrease to November of 23. I'll be curious to see how that impacts things as we go into 2025. Obviously, I don't know. Nobody knows the future of our real estate market, and so much of it's going to be dependent on this right here, interest rates. But if this trend continues, if, say, in December, instead of the 529 listings that hit the market in December of 23, say in December of 24 here, it's only 450, 460. It's a roughly 20% decrease year over year over over no over over you know what I'm saying, a decrease year over year. The reality is if those start compounding, that's going to really impact active inventory. Active inventory is up right now about 12%. um some of that might level out based on this right here, based on the fact that new listings are down. So we'll see, we'll monitor that as we go. But that's been a regular trend that we've seen, and that's been a trend that we've seen here in terms of months of supply too. The months of supply is rising in Nashville. I do want to pull up another city just because it'll give us an idea of, because I honestly I think Murfreesboro is a little hotter of a city. Just when all said and done, it's just a lower price point. It's close enough. I say hotter, like Nashville's hot. Don't get me wrong, but it's Murfreesboro that seems to be a little bit more in demand. It's more affordable, and you can see right here. I mean, new listings is also down. It's only down 3%, so that's a very similar, a very almost static trend year over year. New under contract up significantly. Active inventory is up significantly too, 16%. Usually double digits. That's where I'm gonna call it significant. Um, that's a pretty big sign. Plus this right here, the months of supply being up about 21%, also a sign that that it's not an extreme seller's market. But honestly, I can't call 3.2 months of supply anything but a seller's market. Um, Long story short, what I'm trying to get at here and what I want to answer before, and let's just go back to Nashville as we're talking about it, before I start chatting about seasonality real quick, is that this market right here is showing me that we're in somewhat of an unknown for 2025. I mean, nobody knows again what interest rates are going to do with the presidential change, with everything that's happening in our economy. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the real estate market. And so, my best advice I can give you is that if you're thinking about doing something, do it sooner rather than later. Nobody knows again what things are going to look like the middle of next year. If interest rates are 5% instead of 7%, that obviously makes your home more affordable. It's going to help your price go up. But if interest rates are 9% instead of 7% for whatever reason, well, that's going to make your home less affordable, and it's going to make what you can get for that property go down significantly. And, if this months of supply, if that keeps rising, in fact, let's just look at a timeline of it real quick before we keep chatting about it. I mean, you can see this is a steady rise. In fact, this is high. This is high, the highest it's been in 3 years, probably the highest it's been since, I mean, gosh, I wish Real Tracks would go back further than this, but it's definitely the highest it's been in the last 5 years. Really probably the highest it's been months of supply since this look higher than January, and it's probably the highest since the recession, to be honest with you, since 2012, 2013. That's something maybe to be concerned about. I'm just going to be real with y'all in terms of concerned about the market changing, the market fluctuating, and being a new market than we've seen before. So again, if you're thinking of selling, to me that's a sign that says, hey, you should look at selling now before this, instead of being almost 6 months of supply, is 8 months of supply or 9 months of supply. Because the more supply out there, the more competition you have to find that buyer. And the more competition, the less money you get. In fact, there's an easy, simple to follow analogy that I read in a book one time. When it comes about when we're talking about supply and demand, and like just think for a second, you're a student, you're taking a college exam, you forgot your pencil, right? Well, if somebody's willing to sell you a pencil, and they're going to sell it for $1, but all of a sudden if there are three people who forgot their pencil and they only have one pencil, well, now all of a sudden the bidding's going to go up, and it's going to be like, well, hey, I'll give you $5, I'll give you $10, I'll give you 20, like that, $20 for a pencil, who knows? But I hopefully you get what I'm saying. But then if the next time a test comes around, somebody's like, well, I could have sold three pencils for $20. Let me bring all these pencils with me, but nobody forgot their pencils. All of a sudden, you have pencil inventory, and so I hope that makes sense. Just kind of an off the cuff yet analogy yet it's an analogy that I read in a book, in the past, and wanted to make sure I shared that because that's what this means. Months of supply, 6 months has always been that kind of line in the sand that separates buyer's market and seller's market. Higher than 6 months, buyer's market; lower than 6 months, seller's market. We're flirting with 6 months right here. And again, this is the highest it's been. Again, I've looked at these stats for years now. 6 months, we did not approach 6 months, prior to the pandemic. We were getting kind of close in 18 and 19, if I remember right. We were kind of in that like 4 to 5 months, but we were not up here. And so I'm just saying all this to say that if you're thinking of moving, I would take advantage of what the market looks like right now because we don't know what it's going to be like in the future. And waiting just it might help you, it might not, and we just don't know. Now, if you're thinking of buying, that's the tricky part. I could argue that if you're buying a home, supply and demand doesn't matter if you can find what you're looking for and it's affordable. That it doesn't matter if you have 100 options or one option, as long as you can afford it, you could buy it, and it makes sense for you, buy it. Uh, and so my point being that if you're thinking about moving, if you're thinking about buying a place, and sorry, my computer of course popped up saying it was going to restart. Like, don't do that while I'm recording a video. Um, if you're thinking about buying a place, take advantage of what the interest rates look like right now if this is affordable to you. If it's not, then it might make sense to wait. You never know what the future is gonna hold. Just know though, if you wait, and even if rates go up and that causes inventory to go up, well, you're gonna see basically it's gonna counteract the fact that prices go down because rates have gone up. So it's going to impact you negatively. So, and I would honestly say if rates go down, which will help you from an affordability standpoint, it's going to help drive prices up. So it's one of those things that if you're thinking of buying, I would honestly say look at it now. Don't wait until the middle of next year. Don't wait 12 months. Look at it now. See if what you can afford is something that you're happy with. Now, the elephant in the room, what I led off this video talking about, and that is seasonality. Guys, seasonality is something that doesn't get talked about enough in real estate. It just is what it is, and we're gonna look at this. We're gonna look at this trend line here in just a second, closings. But in Nashville, in the Middle Tennessee area, I would say that seasonality isn't much of anything. And so if you're thinking of moving, I wouldn't wait until January, February, March to do it. I would look at it now because homes sell in December. Some of the best sales months of my career have happened in December. It's less homes because here, just to go back before we look at it, look at active inventory, the timeline, and let's just look at a 5-year trend so you can see it. Active inventory, you can see typically there are bell curves in here. You can see how active inventory goes down at the beginning of the year, then it peaks up, and then it goes down at the end of the year / beginning of the year, and then it goes up and it goes back down and it goes back up. Like that's a normal trend for the real estate market. It just kind of is what it is when it comes to homes. Because less people again think, hey, that moving right now is a good time because maybe it's not for their family and maybe it's not for you, and that's okay if that's the case. But my point of saying this, my point of sharing this is that if you're thinking about moving, don't wait just because you've heard a myth of seasonality, because seasonality is not a thing here in Nashville. Looking at closings, homes close in November, homes close. Yes, there are less that close in January because their inventory is down and less people are moving. But the reality is homes still close. In Nashville last year, 290 homes closed in January of 24. 289 in January of 23, 394 in January of 22. I could keep going, but my point is that homes still close in December and in January, and waiting doesn't make much sense in my opinion. Only if it makes sense for your family. Otherwise, take advantage of the market because if you're thinking of selling, the reality is you can see less new listings on the market. That means you're going to have less competition from a sales standpoint, and buyers might have less to choose from than if you wait until February, March, April to sell. And if you're buying, again, ignore seasonality. That's the best thing I could say. Does the home that you want, is it out there and is it affordable? And if that's the case, jump on it. And if that's not the case, then wait. It's simple as that. Guys, I hope this video has been helpful. I wanted to share a couple of things, like I said, about the market as well as seasonality. As always, if you need anything, have any questions, reach out. If you're seeing this online, just drop a comment, drop a like, follow, help me grow this channel that you're seeing this on. If you're seeing this in your inbox and you have a question, hit reply. Let me know that you watched the video. Let me know that let me know if you have a question because I'm happy to help. As always, y'all, I appreciate y'all. And if we don't talk between now and in the holiday season, hope you have a great Christmas, a happy holiday season, and a wonderful new year. Thank y'all so much.